Hey friends, and welcome to my channel. My name is Kenzie Sexton and I'm a 4th grade teacher in South Dakota. Today for Tech Tip Tuesday, I'm going to be showing you around Flipgrid. So let's get started. So when you get to the Flipgrid website, this is what it will look like on your screen. If you are an educator, then you'd log in up here to create a new Flipgrid. If your students are logging in and they're logging in on a device like this, then they would go ahead and just enter a flip code. So when they click on that, they would just get to type in the code there and it would take them in. And I'll walk you through that in a minute. But first I'm going to show you the educator side of things. So I logged in. This is what it comes to right when you log in. And it takes you through what you'll do. So you'll create your grid, you'll add discussion topics, and then you'll share it with your students. So I'm going to click Start My Grid. You're going to first name your grid. So this is going to be Social Studies, period. We'll go period 1. So then you can choose how you want students to log in. So you can have them use a school email, a student ID, or an educator learning community. I would probably use the student ID unless it's really easy for your students to access their emails. So I'll click on that. And then you can create a flip code. So this is what the students would type in to enter. So I think that's fine. I'll probably just leave that. If you have an easier one for students to remember, you can change that as well. So then you have the option to add your student list. So you'd add their first, last name, and their student ID. So if I wanted Ashley A, make her code 1234, I'll add her, then B, 2345, and then you can continue adding it however you want. You can change the identifiers. It's pretty simple. You could use their initials, whatever works best for you. Maybe if you have a number system, you could use their initials and a number, something like that. And then I'm going to go ahead and click Next. And then you can see the student IDs, and then you have the option to print the student list. So then you can give it to them. You can also print the QR code so they can just scan to open it. Then I'm going to launch my grid. There it is. And now if I'm sharing it with my class, I can simply copy this by clicking the button and then pasting it into, if we have a Google Classroom, I could do that. I could send it out on Remind if I want parents to be involved. If you have any other platform like Bloom's, Class Dojo, Seesaw, any way that you share information, you can share it on there as well. You could also just send it through parent email, so you can copy the embedded code. Then I'm going to go to my grid. So you can see it says Social Studies period 1, that's what we named. Here are your actions. You can add co-pilots. If you have other teachers you would like to add, you can simply click there, enter their email to add them in as a teacher. You can duplicate it if you have another class that you would like to add. You can manage your notifications as well. Do you want to get daily, weekly, every new video, or never? Every new video would be very overwhelming, so I don't know if I would ever choose that one. You can also integrate teams, export data, and then delete the grid. Over here, this is how you edit your grid. So you can change your code at any time, change the name, how you have students signing in, your class list. You can print those lists again. Then you can also choose the state of your grid, if it's active or hidden at that time, your notifications, captions, downloading and sharing. If you want students to be able to receive emails when there's a new topic added. And then you can personalize it by selecting an image for the grid cover, or if you have one you want, you can upload that. So if you have like a class picture, that'd be something really cool. Otherwise, they do have these pre-made pictures for you to choose from as well, and there is quite a bit of options there. So I just choose one, and then I'm going to click update grid so it changes. Then as you scroll down, these are your topics for your grid. So first you can see that you can activate this say hello on Flipgrid. That's just so everybody can jump in, learn how to use it, introduce themselves. Just a simple way to start it out and allow students to try it out. To view it how a student would see it, you would click on this view button here. You can see that they would enter their ID or they would scan their QR code. So if you wanted a really easy way for students to get logged in without messing with the IDs, you could cut out their QR code and paste it into their agenda. So that's how they would join in. We joined in as Ashley. And this is what students would see it as. So this is their title, their class period, who the teacher is. The background that we chose, their name is up at the top here. They can go into dark mode, which makes the screen darker if they're working at night. They can search things or they can log out at any time. As they scroll down, so it says welcome to Flipgrid, tap the green plus below to open the Flipgrid camera, then record a short video and say hello and share a fun fact about yourself. So they can go ahead and do that by clicking this green button here. Going back to my grid and what my page looks like, you can select, if you have multiple topics, you can select multiple by clicking those check boxes. You can see that this one is active right now. You can make it frozen or hidden. So if I don't want students to work on it now, I'd make it hidden. If you want to share it, this exact topic with others, you can click that share button and then it gives you the code to that, and again it gives you that QR code. It has the embedded code. You can share it to Google Classroom or remind straight from here. And then if you have guests joining, you can flip on this guest mode, which makes it easier for others to join. Going back over here, then you have your actions. So you can record a response yourself for that topic. You can add topic guests, new people to it for that certain topic. So it would not add them to your class. It would just add them to that topic, that group of videos. There's also add to disco library. I'll show you the disco library in a second, but that's basically just a library for you and others to choose pre-made activities from. You can activate a topic if it was not previously going to your class. You can activate it here. You can move it to other places, duplicate it, export it, and delete it. Then over here, the pencil allows you to edit it. So at any time, you can click on the pencil. You can change anything in here, including the title of the Flipgrid. So just what is your Flipgrid about, an explanation, giving a little more information, and then this is the prompt for your students. So telling your students what you want them to complete. You also get to choose the recording time. They have a lot of different options here, and that is the maximum time that students can record for. You also have the option for video moderation, which is where students submit their video, but it is not published until you approve of it. Down here you can add a focus or some sort of image. You can delete it as well. Then down here you can leave a tip for your students to help them best complete this topic. And then if you have any resources you want students to look at or use while completing this topic, you can link them here. You can add the link in this box, and then you will create a title for the link over here. If you can add multiple by clicking on this button. Then it shows you your topic status. Right now it is hidden. You can change it to frozen and active, and then you can launch different dates and times for when you want it to change as well. You also have the ability for the video features here. So you can do selfies and videos. You can do videos only, selfies only. So that's whatever you want the students to do. If you want them recording themselves, you can do the selfies only. If you want them recording something else, you can have them do videos only, and you can also leave it open so they can do both. You can choose what you require, so you can have students add a title. You can also allow the students to see how many views each video has had, or you can turn that off. That's also a great way to see if the students are watching each other's work. You can allow students to add sticky notes while they're recording. You can allow students to rearrange their video clips, trim and edit. That probably is depending on how much time you have, how old your students are, whether or not you would want that option on. You can have the attachment link on like we did. You can also turn on the like link. I really like that to just show support to one another. I like to have that on so students can participate in that. And then you can also keep on or turn off the student-to-student replies, where they can start to have conversations with each other through Flipgrid. Then you also have the option to change the feedback between basic and custom. Basic is pretty much just responding to how the student is doing, responding verbally and clearly about their ideas. The custom is if you wanted to create like a rubric for the topic. And if you click on custom, you have the option to add criteria so the students know what they need to include. And then in basic, you can see that there is ideas and performance. So now that we've gone through those, I'm going to go to the top and show you what the board is. My activity shows what I've done on my page in the last couple days. It shows how many grids I've launched, how many topics, videos this week, and video views, and then it shows things that I've done, and then if I have any recent videos. If I go back up to the top, the next one's my grids. That's where we were looking at our grid earlier, our topic. So you have your grid, which is your class, and then you can go in there to see your topic. You can see I have one topic for that class right now, and there's no videos. MixTapes is where you can add groups of videos that you or the students have created. Grid Pals allows you to connect with other teachers and classes around the world. You can select it by grade or subject, and then you can see all of these popping up showing you where there are other educators using Flipgrid. Disco library is what we're talking about. It's a really great way to start out, especially if you don't have time to make it. You can find something that matches what you want to teach. So you can see there's a Flipgrid weekly hit, so things that people are using a lot recently. Featured ones, and I was looking into this conversation starters earlier. If I click on that one, there's different ideas of how to start your students communicating with each other, which could be a really great beginning of the school year idea. You can choose it by audience, subject, or search other topics as well. But then if you want to look at one, you can just click on it. You can see what it's about. So you can see it's a would you rather game, and it gives the instructions here. and it tells you off to the side over here, the integration notes is like the instructions for the teacher. What is the goal of this activity? How would you incorporate it into your classroom? It will show you how many times this topic has been used. So you can see it's a pretty popular one. And then if you want to use it, you can share it. If you want to share it with your team members or someone else, you can add it to your favorites to check back in later. Otherwise, you can select a grid and then choose which class you want to add it to and just click on that and click add. Then it takes you to your grid since you've just saved this, and you still have the option to edit things. So if you want to change some of the instructions, you can do that. If you want to change the time for responses, you can change that. If you want to have the moderation for the video, you can add that. So there's still all these things that you can choose from. You're just taking their activity to use in your classroom. And then when you're done, you'll just click update and it has been added. So there are a ton of ways that you can use Flipgrid in the classroom. You can allow students to leave book recommendations for each other through Flipgrid. You can bring speakers into the classroom through this virtual setting. You can also use it for exit tickets, morning work, makeup work, jigsaw group presentations, vocabulary word walls, and I also love the idea of having students leave a message for the next year's class through Flipgrid. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. I would also love to hear from you in the comments below. Thanks for watching.